Phoenix here, recapping one of the most incredible Super Saturdays we have ever seen. We'll begin, of course, with the game. I go wrong, but can you blame me? Ruben Amorim's Manchester United letting me down. Imagine my shock. I should be surprised because I picked against Manchester United, but then again, can I? Can you with that team? Every single time, I think they can't scoop any lower. The worst manager in Premier League history finds a way to outdo himself. Frank de Beer, you're safe. There's no way people can consider you to still be the worst Premier League manager in history. This guy is in a league of his own. He got outcoached by a set-piece coach. It's incredible. Do you know how bad Brentford are, by the way? I see yesterday, Jordan Henderson this, and Thiago that. Watch these guys when they're not playing against Manchester United. They're atrocious. And of course, listen, the manager, we know there's no point. I told you from day one. The players, though, I mean, Bayern there. There to go. The ball straight at him. The guy dives the opposite way. He goes the opposite way. But we were saying Onana's worse than this guy. Why buy a goalkeeper, keep him on the bench? It's on the manager. The defense yesterday. But Thiago destroying Maguire and De Ligt. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. But of course, everything stems from that rat in the middle. The guy, I can't sympathize with United fans because you compare this guy to Kevin De Bruyne all throughout these years, and this is the one player that would have hacked it and he would have played in the old Manchester United teams. Played where? Forget about the penalty miss, even though that's supposedly his best attribute. Played where? He was atrocious yesterday. But of course, yeah, the one thing you can say is he's playing out of position, as most of these players are. And let me tell you something. The thing that kills me. Obviously, I'm glad for Sesko, getting his goal. And actually, let me know when you're ready to apologize about Kinder and Bremo. Because we've had to have arguments. You come into my comments and attack me. How can you not rate Mbeumo? How can you not praise Mbeumo? How can I rate a striker who's better without the ball than with the ball? Or a winger, whatever the hell he's supposed to be. When the guy has time to think and he's on the ball, it's atrocious. And Cunha yesterday, by the way. Yeah, all these Rabona passes and this and that and whatnot. He took 4 shots. The guy can't shoot and he took 4 shots. His job should be setting players up. I must be missing something. But as always, a United team that have no good wing-backs. Playing a formation with wing-backs. I mean, how many times have we been through this? Bruno playing out of position. Players playing out of position. It's the same old story. And of course, that falls on the manager. And you know what killed me yesterday? Because there's no point banging on about, like I said, the worst Premier League manager in history. But let me tell you what killed me. Came at the end, and you know what I always say about Amorim, right? The thing it drives me crazy. The like-for-like substitutions. So we get to the end, and I'm like, oh shit, Mason Mount on for Luke Shaw. Okay. Xerxes on for Dorgu. Okay. Hang on a minute. Has he finally changed formation? Go watch those last 10 minutes. The formation stayed the same. He had Mason Mount playing left wing back. He had Mbeumo playing right wing back, and he still had the back 3. The formation was the exact same. I couldn't believe my eyes. This guy had Mason Mount, one in the freaking wing on the left. That's it, man. It's done. It is all over. Why give him the Sunderland game? I've told you my opinion. Bring in Spalletti, get him his successor, and let's be done with this. Because, of course, in an incredible Super Saturday for me, Amarant had to be the one to let me down. One thing, though. How was it not a red card for Collins? How's that not a red? That's disgraceful, eh? That's a disgraceful decision. Alas, we move on to Chelsea-Brighton, which is the other game I got wrong. Chelsea fans, there are problems here. But in my defense, 11v11, Chelsea were the better team. And in all likelihood, Chelsea would have went on to win the game. But of course, as soon as Chalobah got the red card that early on in the second half, the game changed. Now, Brighton are terrible, right? That's what makes this the most concerning. Brighton are a terrible team. But the issues with Chelsea yesterday, listen, these substitutions from Maresca, just like last week, 100% you can question them. Malo Gusto, Achempong came on, and they made a complete and utter disaster of the game. So you can question Maresca, okay? But the main problem at Chelsea is 100% the board and what they've done. I didn't expect the Chelsea team to win the Premier League this season, but I expected them to, at the very least, be in contention. The amount of millions that they've spent, and yet again, we still keep looking at this Chelsea team, and we're like, well, this is a Chelsea team with problems. But how can you still have so many problems? And the philosophy that the board has is just flat out wrong for a club like Chelsea. You don't win the big things this way. You can win a Club World Cup where Chelsea beat absolutely nobody, let's be honest, until the final. And then in obviously one-off game, it was an incredible performance and you won the Club World Cup. But you cannot be consistent with this philosophy. And in the summer, I'm there crying out for a striker. Everybody, right? Everybody. Joao Pedro, this isn't a player we've not seen before. He's a fantastic player, but everybody knows, including Joao Pedro himself, he's not a number 9. Yet somehow, Chelsea brought him and they chuck him up front on his own. The best Chelsea have looked is when he wasn't playing number 9. Obviously, then Delap gets injured, who, by the way, is no Diego Costa himself. He's no Drogba himself. This guy's bank average. But he's the only one that can and wants to play there and hold up the ball and bring others into play and play with his back to goal. But where do you go from here? Already, as we look to next year, the striker's in. The striker is another young 20-whatever-year-old Omega coming in. May hit, may not. But again, you got to be patient with these type of players. The best signing Chelsea have made over the last 10 years, right? Or let's say since they won the Premier League, it's not Cole Palmer. No. It's Thiago Silva. What was his age when he went to Chelsea? 30-something. There's nothing wrong with experienced players. That's how Chelsea achieved the success that they did throughout the years. You don't win anything with children. You need a mixture. You need players that are going to assume responsibility. And the sad reality of this Chelsea team is you think, okay, well, this is a team built with young 20-year-olds. Maybe they'll grow together and eventually, become the experienced players. The sad reality that's not the case, because they keep buying the young ones, chucking them in, and if they fail, they then sell and bring in other young strikers or young forwards, young players again, and the cycle keeps repeating itself until they hope one day they hit the jackpot. I mean, what kind of plan is this? It doesn't make any sense. But of course, Maresca's at fault. I'm not saying he's not made mistakes, but if he pays the price, the motto from the club will still remain the same. They can sack him, replace him with someone else, but I can't see who can turn these guys into winners, because you need winners within the dressing room to bring that winning mentality into this team, to assume the responsibility. But as things stand, again, it's looking like it'll be another wasted year. Then, of course, we begin when the Phoenix reached a new level. Palace Liverpool. I said 1-1. It was 1-1 up until the last kick off the game from Eddie Nketiah. Liverpool fans, we need to talk. But before we get to that, much love to Palace. Much love to Glasner. Losing Eze, still no problem. Let me tell you the sign of a good manager. This guy, I watched him at Lazio in the Serie A. One of the worst players I've seen. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. He was good at Frankfurt. Terrible at Lazio. I'm like, Palace got him. I'm like, there's no way. It doesn't make any sense. Glasner turns him into a brilliant player. And obviously Adam Wharton, know all about him. He ran rings around that Liverpool midfield. The same midfield that I told you has plenty of problems. Now, the issues at Liverpool, I told you it's not sustainable and this and that. Listen, these issues are way bigger than you think. And yesterday, we seen them full flow, right? These issues with Liverpool begin with the manager. I told you, I'm not fooled. I look long term. This guy has relied purely on luck. I've never seen a manager and PGMOL referee decisions, which is how he won last year because everybody else went to shit. That's how he won last year. Now this year, I closed a little bit of an eye last year. I'm like, okay, he's still got Luis Diaz, he's still got Darwin Núñez, he's still got Szoboszlai playing 10. There were problems there. And Salah obviously had a season where he played out of his mind. But this year, after that window, to still play the same way, if not worse than what you were doing last year, how can a manager set his team up to just go out there, right? This is how, every time I've watched Liverpool under this manager, this is what it's felt like to me. The team goes out, right? As though they play the exact same way. It doesn't matter who the opposition is. The exact same way. They try to, at least. Same style, same formation, same identity. And I put identity in inverted commas because I don't see one. Hope you get the goal. And then in the second half, make the necessary adjustments of what needs to be made to try and win the game. No. This Liverpool team should be going out there. Yeah, I'll mention him. Like Brendan Rodgers, not even asking for Jurgen Klopp level. Brendan Rodgers, 2013, 2014, set his team up to go and for the kill with that backline and go and kill teams within 20, 30 minutes. That's what this Liverpool team should be doing. But there is no style. There is no identity. And you can keep on blaming Vers, by the way, who of course isn't having a good start to his Liverpool career. And that backline, of course, God forbid, by the way, Van Dijk gets injured. God forbid. Because Konate yesterday was getting absolutely ragdolled. And those fullbacks, like I told you, those fullbacks, there were big problems there. But keep mocking Trent and this and that. But how is it that Salah has completely vanished, by the way? Vers cannot turn up. Gakpo's playing bad. Isaac's playing bad. Then at some point, you got to look at the manager. It's the manager's responsibility to get the best out of these players. And the fact of the matter is, in every single game Liverpool have played this season, they've relied purely on luck and referee decisions. And I've told you it's not sustainable, and here I am. And you tried it again yesterday, because how on God's green earth did that Liverpool goal stand? And I see Liverpool fans crying because the first goal that Palace scored, that wasn't a corner. You're lucky you weren't 5-0 down at halftime. Talk about that. What about your goals? It's a blatant handball. Enough is enough. 10 minutes at the time in the first half, okay. Another 6 minutes added on in the second. Where is the 6 minutes from? Where did they come from? But this time, it went against you. And now, you begin with Satan himself, the bold Satan in charge. You begin with him. Forget about Vers for now, who got chucked again out of position, right? Forget about Salah for a second. You get that manager. You focus on him. Because again, there is no identity. And Liverpool are in big trouble. But yeah, go and buy Isaac because he's who you needed. Please, man, give it a rest. I am always 10 steps ahead. Liverpool fans, apologize. Then, of course, we shifted quickly to the City game. Whew! Haaland triple captain FPL. It wasn't looking good, was it? And City were suffering, eh? Again, massive shout out to the newly promoted teams. They've been exceptional and barely tried. They tried, but eventually Manchester City's class prevailed. Liverpool fans, I can also admit when I get things wrong. And maybe I've been wrong about Jeremy Doku. because he has been unplayable this season. Or at least over the last 4 to 5 games. He's put in incredible performances. I state what I've stated before the season began. These are my Premier League champions. Then, of course, we shifted to the game that will define the Phoenix legacy for years and years to come. The Madrid derby. I got laughed at, mocked at, because I said Atletico will dismantle Real Madrid. I didn't say they will just beat them. I said they will dismantle them. Because again, the difference between me and you is I look long term. I don't care that Real Madrid have won every single game. I don't care that Atletico have started the season not as well as they should have. I look at the big picture. And when I seen these two teams coming up against each other with the way they've been playing, I knew immediately this was going to be the perfect game for Atleti. And Simeone completely outclassed Xabi Alonso. Now, Real Madrid fans, as always, they suffered their first defeat. And all of a sudden, it's panic. Xabi Alonso out, this and that. There's no doubt about it. Xabi made mistakes yesterday. This one in particular, how on earth can Arda Güler come off before Jude Bellingham comes off? Bellingham, who's clearly nowhere near ready, it was his first start of the season, somehow lasted 70 minutes. That's on the manager, no doubt about it. But let me tell you what's not on the manager, or maybe it is on the manager, but I sympathize with him because it's what I've told Real Madrid fans all along. The problem lies with number 8. Number 8 cannot play in midfield. The fact of the matter is, Real Madrid may have now 3 right backs, in essence. This guy has to be played out wide. He cannot play central, not in these type of games. The Real Madrid board have now failed to replace Toni Kroos in 3, 4 transfer windows. 2 years to not replace Toni Kroos. That is unacceptable. And that's why I sympathize a little bit with the manager. But ultimately, it's on Xabi to realize that he cannot play. Ceballos would have been better than Valverde in that position. Valverde needs to be played out wide. But like I said, the solutions to Real Madrid, unfortunately, have to be solved in the window. They cannot be solved with the manager. What the manager can do, of course, is what I said before the game began. Yet again, Vinicius, Mbappe, you cannot play both in the big games. It's not rocket science. We've seen it in the Club World Cup. We've seen it again yesterday. We've seen it throughout the entirety of last season. Seen it in the Manchester City games. And that can and should be on the manager. As soon as I told you the starting lineups, that Real Madrid team is imbalanced in the big games. And full credit to Atleti. In particular, I thought Koke had a remarkable game. Barrios, this guy is a phenom. A phenom. Simeone, Nico Gonzalez, they worked their socks off. And most of the damage was done, of course, in this right-hand side versus Real Madrid's left-hand side. Carreras and Huijsen have been phenomenal this season. They were atrocious yesterday. And when Militao was forced off, I began smelling blood. And sure enough, Julian Alvarez was the one to make them pay. The amount of disrespect from Premters that we have seen over the past week about how Julian Alvarez should be playing for a bigger club and whatnot. He's at Atletico Madrid. He's the main man. Listen to that atmosphere that was at the Metropolitano yesterday. Premters, you can buy players, but yet you cannot buy that atmosphere. And that is why Julian Alvarez is there, something you'll never understand. Dirty, filthy, smelly Premtards. Full credit, like I said, to Simeone. The Güler-Mbappe connection, I like what I'm seeing. It's giving me vibes of Ozil Ronaldo. And the one thing with Güler where I will sympathize, that penalty that he gave away, I think that was harsh. It's a high foot, but the only way Güler can make contact to clear the ball was using his foot. And he did. He touched the ball first. For me, the risk when you go with a high foot is if you don't touch it first. But he touched it first. So me personally, I think that was harsh. But of course, the league titles, they're not won and lost in these type of games. Yes, Atletico, with this win, are back in it, and they blow the title race wide open very early. But again, what Real Madrid, of course, need to be doing is keep doing what they've done and win those smaller games. But come the big games, and this is what I fear for Real Madrid this season, the Champions League and La Liga, they're going to be unattainable. Because in the big games, they're still going to be, especially Champions League, they're still going to struggle massively. And it starts with that midfield. Then, of course, we shifted to the game in Italy. Well, between Juventus and Atalanta, where I predicted a 1-1 correct. Spoiler. Was very happy with this. I can't say I was surprised. The truth is Juventus were absolute garbage. They were okay in the first half. It was a disastrous second half. And another manager who I seen right through him. People called me salty, and I fully expected that 2 weeks ago, whenever it was actually now, when Juve beat Inter by 4-3. And I said, I'm not moved. This Juve team is trash. Sure, they beat us, but they're garbage. I'm not concerned. They haven't won a game since. Because the manager is not good enough. He still insists on playing Kalulu right wing back. They have big problems in midfield. Big problems. They needed a defensive midfielder. They didn't bring one in the summer, and they're paying the price. When Yildiz has an off game, there is no Juventus. The wing backs, you cannot, it's the same as United. You cannot play a 3 at the back and then put Kalulu right wing back. Joao Mario, what's the purpose of letting Alberto Costa go and bringing in Joao Mario? These are decisions that make no sense. Zergova looked bright off the bench. And Juve, like I said, they would not have got their goal if it wasn't for an Atalanta mistake. And up front, by the way, Jonathan David has been now resulted to an unused substitute. Keep it up, Jonathan. And I think they should go 2 up front. I think they could also shift to a 4 at the back. I think that's what would get the best out of this Juve team. But alas, Tudor will continue, and I, for one, cannot be any happier. What made me even more happy is when my team Inter won the game yesterday, a game that I was fearing, as I told you with the prediction. I didn't think we'd even get the 3 points. But the early goal from Lauti, yet again against Cagliari, he was unplayable yesterday. And the big luxury Inter have this season is what we didn't have last season, is we don't need to rush Lauti. We don't need to rush to run. Because on the bench, ladies and gentlemen, with his first Serie A goal, Francesco Pio Esposito. Remember the name. Special player. City fans. Wow. Akanji in a back 3. He's not made a mistake so far for us. He's been incredible. Much love to him. DeMarco came on. Was really good as well in the second half. And of course, Bastoni continuing to deliver. The only player that at the moment isn't hitting nowhere near his highs that he should is Barella. Big 3 points. And hopefully Martinez can also continue in goal. Oh, and De Vrij is better than Acerbi at the moment. So please, Christian, continue with that. We didn't give them anything. So happy with that. And then, of course, the last game that we analyzed was the Spurs-Wolves game, where I said Wolves plus 1.5. Very happy with this. I thought Spurs may still nick the win. But the truth is they were terrible. And this is the problem with Spurs under Thomas Frank. It's these type of games. They came in, if they won, they would have went up to second. They're playing against a team that hadn't got a point, and they didn't turn up. I told you about Xavi Simons, and you didn't listen. Most overrated, one of the most overrated players in the league. Easily. I don't understand the hype. But of course, what sums up Spurs for me yesterday is there's the one that pains me is when Palhinha equalizes and he takes off his shirt. I don't know if it's a North London thing, but come on. You're playing at home to the bottom team. It's a big goal because obviously if you can't win a game, you damn sure make sure you try not to lose it. And Spurs stole a point in that regard because they were atrocious. Kudus, when he didn't turn up, Bergvall didn't turn up, big problems. But Palhinha, if you're not playing for Fulham anymore, you get that ball, you put it in the middle of the pitch, and you go again. It's as simple as that. But anyways, and a Super Sunday to remember. Big day in particular for Inter and Manchester City. We'll see what happens today on Super Sunday. And make no mistake about it, we'll be continuing or looking to continue that momentum that we have built, because we are absolutely on fire at the moment. I'll see you guys in the streams. We'll begin with Newcastle versus Arsenal. Take care. Enjoy your Sunday. Phoenix